What is going on, everybody? It is Saturday, June the 1st. It's hard to believe we're already in June. The year's flying by, and they always say time flies when you're having fun. So we've been having fun. We've been busy. Pops and I have been real busy the past week. I think it's been 9 or 10 days since we posted a video, and we posted a couple of videos there within a couple of days of each other, and we're going to get back to posting every 2 to 3 days. We've had some stuff that we wanted to do outside of the shop. We've been doing stuff around the house, cleaning up stuff, going to more appointments. Everything is good with the baby, and we will be past the first trimester next Monday or Tuesday. And that's the part where Holly, my wife, will feel more comfortable, is getting past that first trimester. And everything so far is on par. Everything has been good. I want to thank everyone that gave us a congratulations in the comments on the last video where I announced that we were going to be having a baby girl. I can't thank y'all enough for all the support. Thank y'all for all the congratulations. Thank y'all for the prayers. It means the world to me. Pops and I have been pretty busy in the shop and out of the shop, and that's why we haven't made any videos. So work's been crazy, and we just been trying to get a lot done. So I'll turn the camera around, show y'all what we've been doing, what we've got going on, and the progress we've made and the progress we're gonna make today. So Pops has gone to town real quick. He should be back in a little bit. And first I'm gonna do is do a little welding, and then we're gonna keep slinging some tubing. So we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We're up to 1,750 subscribers. Can't thank y'all enough for that. Shout out to all the new subscribers. If you're new, it's just me and Dad, my pops, and we just do what we can in this little shop of ours, and we build race cars. So y'all hang out. We're gonna work on a factory stock. Alrighty, so in the last video, this was still a bare frame. Y'all remember Pops and I come in and ground and cleaned up everything to where stuff would be welded to the frame, and got all the paint off. So as you can tell, we've been pretty busy. Pops and I have been busting out bars. We've been bending tubing and building the next hound dog chassis. So this is number 5. This would be for the Whaleys, Dustin and Keith Whaley. And can't thank those guys enough for trusting in us, building them a car. And so we're excited to get this one done and headed to Mississippi. So we're going to keep plugging away at it. Today, we are going to work on getting the mid-plate mounts in and the bars in here that hold the mid-plate. And we're going to work on doing the drive shaft loop. First thing I'm going to do right off the bat is weld all this out. This is the main structure of the cage, and we know this is where it's going to be. None of this will change. So I'm going to come in and just go ahead and weld everything that we have here already. And I've been doing some pretty good bit of welding as we go. Obviously the insides of these bars aren't welded. You can see that one's not welded. So I'm going to go in and just weld what I can with the chassis sitting like it is, and just get all that taken care of. And I mentioned in the last video, not the last video, but on the last build, I'm trying to weld as much as I can as we go. Obviously, welding something like this, it's not going to move a whole lot if it moves at all, because all this is tacked together pretty good. If it was a single bar or 1 or 2 bars and it was very structural, I wouldn't weld it until I had a lot more bars on there, just so it didn't move, so it wouldn't flex. So with this right here being the main cage part, and this is not going to go anywhere, I'll go ahead and weld this. And then that way at the end of the build, I don't have to go back and try to fight door bars and all that stuff to get in there and weld. So I'll get all that welded. The reason why we want to get the mid-plate bars finished and drive shaft loop is so we can take this out the mock-up engine, Matt Burney. Shout out to Matt Burney at Burney Performance for sponsoring us that mock-up engine from Summit. That thing makes it a breeze because, let me tell you, Pops and I put this thing together on the bench, and when it was laying on the bench over here, it has handles right here where you can pick it up. And being steel, we knew that it would still have a little weight to it, but we didn't realize how light it would be. And when we both picked it up, we about threw it out the door because we were both not expecting it to be that light. So everything bolts on it. Water pump, obviously you can see water pump goes on it. The headers go on it. Intake is just sitting up there with bolts stuck through the holes. Main reason we done that was so we could level the carb pad. And so, yeah, it makes it a breeze. Mid-plate, we'll get that done. We've got to get the transmission to our buddy Chris Bentley. He's going to go through that for us and double check everything. If anything needs to be replaced, he's going to pretty much rebuild the transmission. That's the transmission that'll go in our personal car. So we got to get all that out. And we need this over here. And I'll show y'all what we got going on over there because we've been busy over here as well. I know a lot of people had asked when we were going to work on our car, when we're going to get to the racetrack. That I couldn't tell you. I don't know. We hope very soon. Twisted Performance and Machine obviously is building our motor. I went down there last week and talked to them. The block was finished machine work, and Morgan at Twisted said that she had all the parts for the build. So everything should be there, and we'll just wait for a phone call once they get it built. So that's what we're waiting on. Pops and I come down here late last night, and when I got here yesterday, he had the firewall cut out for the tunnel. Now, if y'all remember, our car was a factory firewall, factory floor pan car when we built it. But due to the rules going to the fab firewall like we do in the new cars that we build, we wanted to move this back and take advantage of the easy headers. Now, these headers have been an uproar on Facebook because there's a couple of guys that say they're illegal and they want to argue that they're illegal. Our rules state that the header and well, actually it doesn't say the header. It has nothing in the rules about the header collector. It just says the exhaust must exit parallel to the ground. It says the headers must exit between the frame rail. Right, so they're between the frame rail. And when you put a 90 degree on there in a muffler, the exhaust is parallel to the ground. That's all the rule says. So that's why we use these headers. And the main reason we use these headers is because you can work on the oil. You can change the oil filter easy. You can put a starter on it easy. You can get to the distributor easy. With the fab firewall being moved back, I mean, they make it so easy. And that's the main reason we use them. I don't feel like there's any performance gain to these headers. The tubes are the same length as a regular long tube header. So I don't think there's any performance gain. What are y'all doing? Hey, buddy. Soaking wet. Y'all don't know how to get out of the rain, do you? So we've been working on this in our spare time when we're not working on new stuff. Obviously, we've been busy here. We take, a couple afternoons or late at night, whatever, we work on our stuff. And Pops and I got the firewall where it needs to be last night. We put tabs on, got all this tacked in and welded. Now, we'll put our top piece on here sometime this weekend, but we have to get that top piece on there and buttoned up so we can paint that firewall and start putting all of our brake lines, all of our wiring back in, and our sheet metal. We have the sheet metal to do all this. Y'all remember all this was finished, the dash, everything. But since we moved that firewall back, we're going to have to trim that sheet metal and put all that back on there. Not a big deal. So that's the easy part. We're test fitting our radiator. It's sitting down on the lower mount. We're trying to figure out what we want to do on the upper mount. We got a pretty good idea what we want to do right there. Obviously, we've got to put this thing on jack stands, and we've got to take the front end back apart, put the springs in the car that we're going to race with, And then, of course, spacers and everything to get our caster camber. Because right now it's just thrown together so we can get it rolling. And we're going to pull it apart. We've got DRP bearing spacers, DRP low friction bearings, and everything we want to put in our rotors. And try to get as much freed up as possible to get this thing as fast as it can be. We did mount the seat for the final time. And we also mounted the seat belts. So Pops and I come down here one night last week, and the seat is mounted, and it is where it's going to be. We're going to leave it in there. We have all the measurements on the new cars now. We know what we need to put in the new cars as far as fitting a big seat, because my seat is 18.5 inches wide. So we know what we have to do on the new car. We have all those measurements written down, so we don't have to have a seat to mock it up anymore. Last night, when we come down here and worked on the firewall, we worked on getting the steering back in the car. I used my 17-inch flat steering wheel to mock up the steering and weld it all back in the car. Y'all remember we had to take our steering out to use the oversized Heims in Matt Brown's chassis we built, because we were sent the wrong Heims and he was coming to pick the car up the next day. So I just took the steering out of my car, used my parts on his car, and I just replaced them on my car. So I used my flat steering wheel to mock up the steering. I have plenty of clearance with this one. So when I swapped to my 15-inch steering wheel that my buddy Jesse Merriman sponsored me, it's a nice Superior steering wheel. 15-inch dish. Got the 1.25 inch grip. So I really like this steering wheel. And that's what I plan to race with. I just used the flat. That way I knew once I put the dish on there, I would have plenty of room to me. So got everything set up comfortably. And that's where we're at. We're going to keep plugging away on both of them. And keep building new cars and get this one closer to the racetrack. But I know y'all probably tired of hearing me ramble. Pops just showed back up. Also, yeah, if anybody spotted that Crown Vic out there, there's another Crown Vic we got to work on. The cage is already in the Crown Vic. That's a friend of ours that runs the local track down here in North Alabama Speedway. All we're doing in it is a seat mount and seat belt tabs, and then we're going to do windshield bars. So it already has a cage in it, so that won't be too bad. We're going to work it in sometime and see if we can't get her fixed up. But for now, I'm going to throw this up on a tripod. I'm going to do some welding, and after I get some welding done, Pops and I are going to throw some tubing at this thing. So y'all hang out. All right, y'all. We got our mid-plate bars in, mid-plate mounts in, both sides. Pop decided to show up.
Yeah.
Y'all remember on Matt Brown's car, when we built his car, we had to bend this bar a little bit, and it's just to clear. We could have put a straight tube in there, but it'd been right against that header tube. I don't like doing that, so because of the heat. And these guys spend a lot of money on powder coat. I'd rather not ruin their powder coat with a header. So we put a little bend in that bar, and it just geeks it out away from that header. We put the mid-plate mounts on. So all that's on. That was the big ticket thing we wanted to get done today. But we're going to keep on plugging away at it. And I'm thinking right now, Pops and I are probably going to get down some 1.25 inch tubing. And we've got a little bit down, but I want to get a pretty good bit down, a stick down, and go ahead and start knocking out. We're going to knock out our drive shaft loop. while the transmission and everything's in there, so we can measure from our yoke back. Most rules are 6 to 8 inch. We've explained that before. We like to go about 7, just so we're in the middle. And we make our drive shaft loop big enough where the shifter rods, when they mount in the tunnel, they go through the drive shaft loop with the transmission and the drive shaft, and then they go up alongside that transmission. And everything clears, so it's not a big deal. On our car, y'all remember, we put that mount right there for our shifter, and it's right on top of the tunnel, and it actually goes right past our drive shaft loop because we have a flat bar drive shaft loop in that car, so it's a little different on that one. But anyway,
you live and learn.
That's right. We're gonna get down some 1 1/4 inch, and we're gonna keep plugging away. I only showed the time lapse of the driver's side because I didn't want a real long time lapse and y'all just sitting there listening to music while we made all these bars, because there's a little bit of cut and fab work we have to do on that lower mount to get it at that angle. Only because where the mid plate lands on these cars, we have to angle that bar down in order to get a good weld on that lower bracket. So I'm gonna throw it back up on the tripod, and we're gonna get down some 1 1/4 inch. We're gonna start throwing in our 1 1/4 inch bracing. But first we'll knock out that drive shaft loop. Y'all hang out. All right, y'all. Well, there's the drive shaft loop. We done our bottom bar. In the last chassis, we done that bottom bar at 1 1/4 inch. This time we decided to do it at 1.5 inches. The reason being, it ties this bar into that main hoop under the driver, in which all this ties together regardless, because we do tie to the frame over there. Y'all have heard me explain that many times. We have a 120 bar that goes under the seat, and we have a bar that goes under the feet, and of course we tie all that in. So y'all watched in the time lapse, we just built the drive shaft loop on the bench over there, and got our height where we wanted it. And then of course we had to cut and notch this end over here. This tube's a little bit longer, being that it's down in that bend a little bit. So got her level across the top, got it the ends capped on this little 1 inch right here. If y'all remember, our sheet metal for our trans tunnel sits right on top of that. So we like to cap those so it gives it something flat. And then once we flip the car over to weld it, I usually go up in there and tack the floor pan and trans tunnel to that drive shaft loop, so there's no flopping or anything. Most of the time there's not anyway, but just added security to keep it from any rattling or anything on the racetrack. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. Pops and I got the mid plate brackets knocked out, drive shaft loop knocked out, and then of course gave y'all an update. I know it's been a while since we videoed, and I doubt we make another video today. I don't want these videos to get monotonous and be the same thing over and over and over and over. We're building race cars. I mean, all of them are now the same. So what we will do is video tomorrow. We are going to work on our personal car, and we're going to make some changes on a few things. Like I said, we're going to get the firewall finished. Hopefully tomorrow we may paint it and get all that completed. And that way we can start doing sheet metal work. And that'll be something a little different. We'll start working on our sheet metal again, getting all that trimmed and cut and put back in there. We've got some ideas how we want to put that sheet metal back in there to make it easier. So y'all hang around for that. That'll be tomorrow. Sunday's video will probably be out Monday. This video, I hope you're watching on Sunday or Saturday night. Not sure. Depends on how our internet acts. So, yeah, with the rain and storms we have, it's kind of hard to get anything uploaded out here. So, but anyway, we appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Again, thank you to all the new subscribers. 1,750 as of this morning. So I mentioned that in the first of this video, and I can't thank y'all enough. Shout out to all the new subscribers. This is what we do. We build race car chassis for factory stocks, and we are in Northwest Alabama. So we run Southern Tennessee, North Alabama, Mississippi is where all we plan to run, and we may even make some trips to Georgia, hopefully, for some bigger races. But for now, we are going to call it a video, and Pops and I are going to get busy. And I know y'all want me to video every single second of everything we do, but like I said, these builds are all the same, and Pops and I are going to cut this camera off. We're going to put our head down, and we're going to start cutting tubing and just start slinging tubing at this thing so we can get it knocked out. Because we do have a customer that is waiting on this chassis. So it doesn't matter how many videos we make, we still need to get these done in a timely frame. So we can't thank y'all enough for watching. Shout out to all of y'all for watching our videos. Shout out to everyone for the support. Shout out to all of our sponsors, whether it be parts, whether it be money. We've had a lot of people come on board with us for our personal car, and we can't thank y'all enough. Matt Burney, again, dude, shout out for the mock-up engine. It's made it a very easy breeze. So now we have the drive shaft loop in it. We can take all this out and we can sit that over in our personal car and work on it tomorrow. So thank y'all very much. Can't thank y'all enough. And we still have decking sponsor spots left for our car. I know it doesn't look like we'll ever get to the racetrack, but we are going to get to the racetrack, I promise. And again, we're going to put everybody's name on the car. We've got some cool wrap ideas. Pops and I have talked about it. I've talked to some graphics guys, and I think the wrap's going to turn out pretty neat. We won't show y'all that. And also, if you have it, go check out Dirt Race Life, Jason Dukes. I think he posted a little teaser on his Facebook of his wrap, and I can't wait to see that car. It's orange and black and white, so that's going to be pretty sharp. I hope Jason posts a video soon. Jason, I know you watch these videos. The car's looking good, man. Can't wait to see it in person, and hopefully we'll cross paths at a racetrack soon. Can't thank y'all enough, and until next time.
Appreciate it, guys, gals. Thank y'all very much for everything. Until next time, God bless you.
See y'all.